Welcome to another episode of our podcast about renovations. Today we have a special guest, Aastha Chowdhary, an interior designer, well experienced working both in design agencies and as a freelancer. It's worth to say we are doing a renovation with you on one of the projects which we have. And I saw the renders, they are very beautiful and you are super talented. We wanted to speak with you in regards basically about the problems of which interior designer faces and the clients which problems they face when they work with an interior designer. But before we start, I noticed that there are so many. You graduated a very well-known university in London, University of the Arts, and at the same time I know a lot of designers who didn't graduate any universities. They just finished their 3-month courses and they started to work as freelancers, as interior designers. What do you think? Is it important to have a degree when you work as an interior designer, and why?
Yeah, definitely. It's very important to have a degree. According to me, what my degree got me was the exposure that I got of meeting people who are from all walks of life. I think 3 months cannot teach you anything in the world. But of course, I learned more on the job than I did in the school that I was studying at. But they teach you a way of thinking that I think jobs don't teach you. Jobs are very mechanical. And definitely, I agree, 3 months will not teach you the way of thinking that a 4-year degree would teach you. They frame you for the bigger world in a way where how design ideas are conceptualized and executed. They teach you how to do end to end, but what you really learn when you're doing a job is what you actually learn in the larger scheme of life. I feel like that's something that makes things come together. So I feel like both separately, whether you're a freelancer or working for an agency, it's extremely important for you to have a 4-year degree, but at the same time, a 2-year, 3-year experience in an agency to understand what life is all about. 3 months of something here and 3 months of something there definitely will not. It can make you familiar to the industry. I don't think it can give you the experience both a job and a 4-year degree would.
But being an interior designer, it's not only about the skills of the design itself. It's also you need to be a good psychologist, because sometimes people, they say, I want this style, let's say.
That happened with us, right?
Yeah.
This time when we were working on this project.
Yes.
We had something like renders reflected 90% of what we wanted.
Yeah.
But when I got here, she kind of changed her mind of the texture she wants and the feeling she wants. So these things definitely, like the psychology of the client also keeps changing back and forth, as in when you start the project.
Correct.
I feel it grows. Out of 20, I would think if it starts at a 15, it'll grow to the 20. But that's, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I completely agree.
But I can say that the clients doesn't worry about do they have a degree or they don't have. They're just looking to their profile or personal brand, and they are not caring about that.
I mean, I agree to a large extent. Nobody cares about a degree. It's just the way how we were studying in school. Nobody cares about the marks that we got back in the day. It doesn't define us. A degree wouldn't define you, but of course, to get to that client, you need that degree. To get there as an individual and have that much experience, you need that degree to get that job. That would build your portfolio eventually.
Yes.
So I feel there are steps. You'll do a 3 months course. Nobody firstly will hire you in an agency. Most people don't hire people with a 3-month degree. People hire people with experience if you don't have a degree. But if you have a degree, you get you get your foot in the door. So a client, in my opinion, would not really care what degree you have as long as you have enough experience. But I feel it all goes hand in hand in the sense that if you didn't have a degree, you wouldn't get your first job in an agency. And you wouldn't get to be in a position where a client would want to hire you later. Most of my work has been under the umbrellas of agencies so far, until now, where I feel ready to be independent of that and do my own thing. Yeah, your friends can give you those jobs without a degree, but nobody trusts anyone with their money and their home because that's such a personal element.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
But we still, what I noticed from another perspective, when we speak with the clients, not everyone is looking for a designer. They say, I know what I want,
yeah.
just do
I
it.
have Pinterest.
I have Pinterest,
Pinterest.
and showing us pictures. What is the role of the interior designer? Like, how do you see yourself in the process of the renovation, and why it is important to have one during the renovation?
See, we all have Pinterest. We live in a world of AI now. So life is easier. I feel like most people think that because they have Pinterest, they know what they can do with it. But what an interior designer does is how to bring the pictures you see on Instagram together. You can like one industrial look, and at the same time, you can like a minimalistic look. And at the same time, you can like a high-end luxury Italian marble, metal look. You know, you can like all these three, but how are you going to bring them together in one house? You can't make it look like a museum, right? House or a space or an office, whatever. You can't make it look like a museum. So that's where I feel like an interior designer comes in to narrow down your ideas into a concept.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pinterest helps. You see, you get really inspired by other people's work, but what colors you choose later, what furniture you choose with it, how you style the place. Interior design is nothing without styling. It's nothing without its materials. It's nothing without the building aspect of it. So, an expert comes in play there where you're just not in your phone and saying, I like this picture, I want this exactly. How many people have the time to go out there and exactly find the same things and replicate it?
Yeah. And what do you think distinguishes a good interior designer versus just like a normal one?
I'm sure everyone is putting their heart and soul in what they do. And if they're not, they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like a good interior designer would be somebody who understands their clients. And I feel that synchronicity between the client and the designer needs to exist. Without that, your place doesn't come together. It doesn't feel very you. So I feel at the end of the project, a good interior designer is somebody who can express your client's personality in the end result of the project. Like once we deliver and hand over that project, the client needs to say, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly who I am. Because your home is the first place that represents your
It's the reflection of
personality.
you, yeah.
If you would ask me, like 5 years ago, what kind of style in a house I want, I would say like just a minimalistic, just a something normal. But now I want to show my personality in my interior design. I will not buy just a furniture.
Yeah.
I will try to find maybe customized furniture,
Yeah.
which will show me like who I am, which
Yeah.
color I like. It's became very, very popular to show your personality.
100%.
Yes.
But do you use a custom furniture when you create a design project, or
So far I have, yes. This is my first project in Dubai where I have kind of picked up a few things from the stores that are readily available. But I personally prefer custom furniture because you can get exactly what you want. You may be paying 2% extra because it's as per your size, as per your fabrics, your color schemes, your materials, everything is according to you and your theme. So it's not something you're finding ready in the market. Most of the times we find everything out there, but it's a big pain to go out there and find the exact veneer color for the exact item that I'm looking for. That mostly never happens unless if you buy the same, suppose, set of sofa from the same place, which again is tricky to see if that size is going to fit my size and if the color scheme is going to match mine. So I do feel that it's in the larger scheme easier to give that order to one company or a factory who manufactures it for you, and you can choose the finishes and you can choose the fabrics, and it all comes together seamlessly almost.
But what about the quality of the furniture? What do you think? To buy in a, for example, Marina Home or Creatine Barrel, maybe better, or like?
I've never experienced problems with these manufacturers. And to be honest, in my opinion and my knowledge, all these manufacturers take it from these wholesale furniture producers. And then they call it their own and that they sell it. Maybe they put in an expensive fabric. They put in expensive cushions, or more, they choose to get a prettier veneer or a solid wood of a better quality. That's the only difference. That these are the specs they would anyway give the furniture manufacturers, right? Like we want to maintain our quality. So it's such a large spectrum that these people can do a shit job at the same time do a fantastic job, where one sofa would sell for 20,000 dirhams, but you can buy the same thing for 2,000. It depends of what your requirements are. So you give your requirements and they make what you want them to make. Because whoever I'm working with is also selling to Pottery Barn, Marina Home, from what I've been told.
Yeah.
So it's the same people doing the same job. Like the wood you use will not be shitty. The same 20,000 sofas framework is going to be the same as the 2001.
Yeah.
It's the foam you add or the fabric you use that makes furniture looks more expensive. What's inside the base of a furniture piece, do we really care about it? I don't think we do. Quality that eventually what we see is what we like.
Yeah, that's true.
That's an interesting point about the budgets and the interior design. We had a case when an interior designer created really beautiful renders with high quality materials. And at the time, we started to calculate how much will it cost basically to renovate it, to implement. We found out that the client's budget was significantly less than we had in the project actually. How do you think an interior designer should work to find this balance between the materials, the price point, and basically to get to the point that's what the client really wanted?
I feel I've mostly, let's just talk about India, I've struggled a lot with this, where the clients want the best, but they don't want to pay. And it's really sad that you're making your house, which will last you at least 10, 12 years, if not more. You push for that number. You're like, okay, give me a number and I'll work backwards. But when you get that number, they try to squeeze it as much as possible. I would believe that they think that if they're giving us a number, then we're going to squeeze a lot out of it for ourselves from that number. But in the larger scheme, it doesn't happen. You know, 100, there are 1,000 expenses, there are 100 things. Where I feel like we can reduce is the materials we pick. Then we don't do wallpaper. When we do paint, then we don't do great lighting. We just stick to the basics. We use Chinese-made products. We don't pick up what's locally available because what China has to offer is cheaper than the rest of the market. That's what I would, like furniture, again, like it's a separate ball game. You use a shittier fabric, 20 dirhams, 30 dirhams per meter is how you bring the cost down. It's the materials. We don't use metal. We use veneer. We don't bring in the glam. Client needs to have that clarity from day one that if you want a spectacular job, it has a cost. Minus our design fee.
Yeah.
That cost is you pay to the vendors that you're working with, not to us.
But it's really hard to get that number.
Really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
I've already gone over budget with my friend. It's already happened.
Yeah.
But you also need to find the right clients then who
But
really want
in
to
the
invest.
first meeting, they are all like, I want this, I want this. I'm ready. This is
everywhere,
my
every
dream.
culture.
Yes, then you're doing the renders, and it's like I don't have that much money
Yeah.
to get it, and
get
you're changing the shells, you're changing the colors,
Yeah.
you're changing the materials,
Yeah.
and then you have one render and you have another result.
Yeah.
So it's really big problem.
Big problem.
How do you getting that numbers? Tell me the secret. Are you trying to explain like
The importance
why
of
it's
having it.
very important? Because I faced up with my friend. I asked her like why you are not telling me the price, your budget which you have in your mind.
Yeah.
And she said that I'm thinking if I will tell you the budget, you will work on that budget. Maybe it's less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying. Because they think that that budget kind of involves what we bring to the table. It doesn't, it can't. You can't fit the ideas in a box. After the renders, how to bring the cost down is buy ready furniture
Yeah.
from Pottery Barn, West End,
Yeah.
IKEA. That's how you bring it down, and it'll never satisfy you because everything has a price. How do you narrow it down?
But you mentioned artificial intelligence. Do you think it may help to reduce this price down? And do you use it?
No,
in
I
your-
don't. Not yet. I think it's just kicking in the industry. It's not there fully yet. Chat GPT, yes. But for design, no. I feel like design is such a personal thing. I don't think that for individuals, I'm not talking about bigger companies or people who are like, like these big companies who do these big projects of like 1,000 flats, like whatever, in those aspects. I don't think for individuals who are making their homes and offices and spaces, AI will never work because what we bring to the table is the emotion and that we're tactile. You can come out with us, pick the furniture, pick the fabrics, pick the accessories. We do things in person. AI may be great for rendering. It's quicker, it's easier, the manpower reduces. But I definitely don't think that it will replace the human value and the human touch that we bring in.
But do you think that you can maybe grab an ideas? Because I saw some dentistry, which was created basically with the help of AI, and really a lot of really nice custom-made furniture. It was generated by AI, and the ideas of basically of that to have that custom furniture, looking this particular design was very good, right? Incredible.
No, I'm sure they're great, but then again, they have these templates, right? Like you have like a set 15 look template. They'll play around that. You can keep changing furniture with those 15 templates.
Yeah.
It's never going to be out of the box. It is a man-made software.
Yeah, I agree.
How can you translate the human emotion into it? You just can't. Yeah, you can do a quick job. It's great for Airbnbs, I feel, where you want to come in, quickly do things and move out. But for a large residential villa where you want to add your personal touch, or a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom house which is your own, or an office space, maybe it could also be good for office spaces because that's like so many people working together and you want it to be cheap and like quick and easy. Maybe for things like that, AI would really do well. I don't think for places where you need human emotion, it would succeed.
Do you see the difference between the generations of what they are looking for in interior design, like a younger generations or an elder generations? Like what are the difference in working with different clients like that?
I feel younger generation lets you do what you're doing easily because I feel people have more respect for an individual now versus older generations. I may be wrong, but I feel like they're more nosy. They want to know everything. They want to be a part of everything. And I feel because it's a form of art to be a designer. Everyone's process is so different that you can't hinder someone's design process or thought process. I feel older people don't understand that because they're so used to working a certain way and knowing it all. Whereas younger people have, because they're going through it themselves, you like that independence of knowing that you're good at what you do and the client needs to trust you and let you do that. I think that's the difference I've experienced.
I know that the older clients, they are starting to looking the renovation company like before 1 year or before 6 months. Just a very big time before to start looking the renovation companies. Because can you imagine how many companies they will look around before to
Interior designers.
to get a designer and to get a renovation company. And the problem is that they are just maybe
Trying to
wasting
find
our
cheaper.
time as well, because we are doing measurement, we are doing quotation, and we are speaking with them like in that time, like 6 months, and at the end they are just
They will back out if they find someone
cheaper, of course.
It is the cheaper aspect. It's what they don't see is who's going to give you the least headache when you're doing that. And I think as settler, you guys are pretty easy to work with because of your app. That's your USP. That's your biggest selling point. Like, it's easy. Like, you know, everything is on your phone and look like we're addicted to our phones. We can't, I don't know anyone who can't live without their phone.
Technology is helping us.
For sure. And that's what you have in your favor. So if someone wants to pay 5,000 dirhams cheaper, like lesser to somebody, and like have more headache, then I feel that's the way to be for them. If I were in their place, I would see where I have to use my energy the least and who's going to come and take my headache forward. And even if that means I pay 5,000, 10,000 more, just get the job done and let's just go ahead with it. But I feel people like spending a lot of time looking. That's why their projects are so delayed.
And some people likes to play as interior designers.
Yes,
Most
Pinterest.
of clients,
Okay, but to sum it up, I wanted, what advice would you give to someone who is looking for an interior designer? How to choose the one who suits the needs of the client?
I feel it's so...
There are so many interior designers with different backgrounds,
and there's so many companies and there's...
Where to start from?
I think Instagram is a really good place now to start. You can see people's work on their pages, and we're in a era where people really resonate. There's so many interior design influencers as well, right? So you follow that person and you see their journey and you see if it works for you in your head, and if you think that that's the temperament you want to work with, because that's the most important thing. You don't have to butt heads with the person who's designing your house. I feel that energy needs to match. So if you go on somebody's profile and you think that that person's design aesthetic matches yours, and you think their temperaments will work with yours, because relatively longer process. It's not behind the scenes are right in front of you. So you should be able to be really comfortable with that person. But I think the starting point would be just check them out on Instagram, see if they match your vibe. If they do, I think then they could be the right fit for you.
And what would you advise to people who don't want to do a design project?
Who don't want like an interior designer?
Yes.
Good luck. Good luck using AI and Pinterest and things don't come together. I've seen
At
that.
the
I've
end,
seen
you will
many
spend
people
more
fail.
money than if you will use interior designer.
100%.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people fail trying
I
to do
also
it on
was
their
in
own.
one big villa. She just wanted to play as an interior designer.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they spent a lot of money and they didn't get anything, like nothing done there.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest problem. How will you choose the renovation company?
I would choose it. How I chose you guys was I saw what you had to offer, what others didn't. And that was that my execution will be taken care of. Like my design will be well read once it's finished. And how I picked up on it, biggest point for me was the app. That you were different from the market because you had the app and I had that ease of knowing my project's going in the right hands. Because I was in India while I was planning all this, right? Like, it's only been a month that I've been here executing, and we're almost done. That was one. My luck was number two. I was lucky that I picked the right team. I also feel like getting to know the owners adds a lot of personal touch. As you commercialize your business, if the owners are not that involved and if it's left to the team, I don't think those businesses flourish in the long run. So that personal touch that I got from you and your team was really important. And at the start of the inquiry, everyone was really hands-on, and I got everything done with you guys in 4 days, 3-4 days, which was another plus. So I didn't see any red flags there, and I was just like, okay, I think this is something that's going to work for me, and it's going to be easy. Like, and it was a really easy process. Like,
thank you very much.
Didn't really,
Thank you. That's why we are doing our application. Because there is a lot of designers who is not living here, but they want to work in this market. So our application will really help them to grow in
100%.
Another market.
100%.
Yeah. And the price of renovation is not really high.
Not
because
high at
if
all.
sometimes, what I'm thinking, if you will choose a designer from Instagram, you will never know where she will choose the renovation company. Maybe she will go to the high luxury renovation company. What we can do, just like to choose by their budget, the renovation company, like constructors. So that's I think the big point.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Covered
Thank you very
everything.
much,
Thank
Aastha,
you
for
so
coming.
much.
It
Thank
was really
you. Thank you
pleasure
so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
having a discussion.
Thank you so much.
So I hope that our discussion today will help the clients
I hope so too.
to go a right way, to choose an interior designer and make it the right way, not the wrong way.
100%. Yes.
If they will ask me why I
Follow-
need
follow
interior
the
design,
process.
I will just send this podcast.
Yes, that's